he was so honest, and and he would tell me once on the street, he says, Renate, you're so pretty. On the street, just while we walk, you're so pretty. Your big eyes and your nice straight nose, and so every feature of my face, he would tell me how he loved it. And I suddenly felt pretty. I never felt pretty before that. My father, he raised me like a little soldier more. Be brave, be strong, be honest, be kind, like that. And now I know I was really, he told me I'm pretty. And so when I came here in America, when I came back, I didn't love him like I used to. And he says, okay, Nana, let's get married. I say, how do you see this? How do you think we can get married now? Well, he says, it's easy. You get yourself a job, I stay with my study, and when I'm finished, you don't have to work anymore, because I know I will get a good job, which he did. He got a job at the Syrian embassy. So he was in money right away, because he was the best dressed man I have ever known. And he was a man. He was not like those boys I met before, He was a real man. He was a soldier against Israel. And he was actually very honest. Like he says, there will be always war with the Arabs. We fight each other. We cannot be with each other, because the Muslims, there are several Muslim cases. And he told me, the way this whole thing, this scenario of the Near East would end up.
What did you feel?
Because he knew the Bible. He learned the Bible. And he saw it all. And, from me, I knew right away. I read the Bible, not much. I stopped actually by the book of the Kings, Second King, with when they built the temple. It was almost too boring for me to know all this. In dressmaking, you have to put together the same way your dresses, and so you're like an engineer of clothing or architect. There's always, you do with numbers. You do lots with numbers. And so I got bored and I stopped reading. And then, of course, didn't have much time anymore. And so many things in between, I forget. I had my own room suddenly. I was 17. I got my first time that I had my own room. And and then I went to America. And he had already planned to go to Italy to see his family, because his brother, who visited us, he was the manager of the Damascus airport. And every time he would buy a plane, he would go to Sweden. And he bought it, he came through us. So our house, he would stay overnight before he would go on to Sweden. So I met his brother, lovely man. And I thought, the family sent me gifts, and I thought, I would like to move into that family, because I could see that was hard more than in our family. His family liked me, oh yeah. That's why I said they sent me gifts, Yeah, I loved them. Yeah, they did know, but they were all Christians. And so they did know, and Yeah, but I think I might have had a boring life with him. It would have been just so, And he had his trouble because he said he looked very Arabic. And going to find a place to have holidays, he had to look for a place because not everybody would let him in. And he says, I had to have a Mercedes so they could see I'm well done, that he's fluent somehow. And he went to the same place every time to Austria. Now that would have been nice for me. But I would have did my life, But I thought it might have been boring. Yeah. And he became very ill. But anyhow, one day, when I was in the first, where I worked with 30 blouses, I saw him in the hospital. And I saw his face, with a beard, and I started crying. And I said, well, what am I crying? What for, And then I come home and my mother wrote me exactly what I saw here. He was in the hospital, he had a beard, he looked terrible. So I had visions. I had visions as a child also. There was a bad man who always wanted to catch me. He wanted to get me off the bed, but he was about 10 inches he would not get to me, And he always tried. I had that dream every night, and I would tell my parents. And they said, oh, it's okay, you have just a dream. Well, it was that the government was after the Jews. And I was a child,
You felt it?
I felt it. He wanted to get me into the devil, actually. I thought it was not a devil, it was a man.
And did your parents feel something about the government?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Did they have an idea to go somewhere?
Yes, my father wanted to go already when his sister came, 32. And she says, Albert, you have to get out of here because they're going to start killing Jews. And he says he's trying. But England didn't want another engineer. And he was a cripple. So he had no chance. And he knew, he had a vision. And he painted it. And he showed my mother. And she says, Renate, it was awful. He's shown me a picture of him where his blood was all running all over his face. It was all blood. So he saw that he was killed with his head was bashed in. But very seldom am I asked. I was asked once, how could you write that last stanzas? How did you know how he died? My mother had to find 10 years. She has to search for a person. Can you imagine? Who saw how he was killed? Where most of the people got killed. But there was a woman who has seen it. And she was also in Cologne. Even prior to that, my mother looked over all Germany to find my dad or somebody who has seen. And this woman told mother, yeah. And when he collapsed, that's how he got killed. He collapsed and they were shouting at him to get up and he couldn't. And then they started hitting him, and he had no hair, so he was bald, and they hit him with the rifle butts. And while the kids were starting to cry, they killed them. They killed the kids in front of everybody, So that story came from this woman.